What's up, guys? Today's video is a little strange. My car is completely out of commission because I just didn't have it today. My dad took the car, so it is what it is, but we're making do. Instead of doing a little bit of a car talk, I decided to just record this in the room, and the topic of today's discussion is something that I know a lot of you guys are scared of, and don't even lie to me. I already know going into this conversation that this is going to be a touchy topic. The topic is cardio. Yeah, I just used the slur, cardio. Oh, cardio. Anyways, on a serious note, I want to address differences between the forms of cardio and what you should do if you want to optimize muscle growth, and what you should do really in any situation, whether you're bulking, cutting, or you just want to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So first, let's discuss types of cardio. Really, there's two main types I want to cover. We have our steady state cardio, and then we have our higher intensity cardio. Oh, and a third category that's very important, our regular day-to-day movement, which I'll include in cardiovascular activity. Please don't mind the messy bed. Anyways, so first of all, day-to-day cardiovascular activity. This is just your day-to-day movement, steps, walking around, going from place to place. If you're a student, this could be things like walking to class, going around campus, and all that. If you're in a workplace that's very active and you're moving back and forth all the time, this is just your day-to-day activity. It's honestly good to increase this as much as you can and try not to stay seated as much as possible. I mean, this will help you get in a good amount of extra steps if you're looking to increase the amount of calories you're burning on a day-to-day basis. But that isn't something that I think is a huge factor for most when it comes to wanting to burn off excess calories or really do extra cardio to add on top of what you're already doing. And a lot of the time, most people's schedules are pretty locked in. So if you can increase your cardio on just a normal basis by walking a little bit more in your normal activities, do that. But if you can't, then there are two other solutions that you could use. And I would recommend one over the other for the long term. I want to cover the worst option first, and that's higher intensity cardio. And I'm more specifically discussing higher impact cardio. So this is things like basketball, running, high intensity interval training, HIIT cardio, which you may have heard of. It has been a very popular fitness fad as of late, I would say. And really anything where it requires a lot of impact on your knees. I don't really recommend these types of cardio consistently. I mean, of course, they can be fun. I mean, I love playing basketball myself, but they aren't the most sustainable when it comes to recovery specifically. And especially as you get older in age and over time, if you keep doing things like playing basketball or running a lot and you're not recovering properly as a result of it because you're stacking it onto your weight training, that can cause some long-term chronic issues like joint pain, and it can also interfere with your muscular recovery, which you don't want. And it can also be very, very fatiguing. I would say one of the biggest weaknesses of high intensity or high impact cardio is the lack of recovery. And the fact that it's really hard. I mean, that's honestly the worst one. A lot of it is not easy. I mean, it isn't easy to run cross country or to go really hard and do HIIT training to the point where you're super out of breath. What I would recommend is the next option, and especially for muscle growth. This is lower intensity, lower impact, steady state cardio. What is steady state cardio though? This is an important question. Steady state cardio is really any form of cardio that you can do where you keep your heart rate elevated to like a point where you can just maintain it, and it's hard. And I mean, it's not super hard, but it's just difficult enough that you can keep going. I mean, you're breathing hard, but you can just maintain it at a point where you're not gonna get exhausted and like have to tap out. It's something where you can relatively comfortably maintain. I know we like to avoid doing things in weight training where we get to like mild discomfort and then quit. But with cardio, getting to a point of mild discomfort and then maintaining the mild discomfort is really where you want to be. If you want to look into the more complex details of the anaerobic threshold and what that means for your heart rate and how much oxygen you can consume and what your anaerobic threshold is and where you can maintain that, that would be something to look into for those of you who are more science heads. I am personally one of those people when it comes to cardio, but I'm not going to discuss that in this video. We're not going to get too deep. But anyways, some forms of steady state cardio include walking, let's just say on a treadmill or maybe outside. This is separate from your day-to-day regular movements that you do. Incline walking, this is a personal favorite of mine. The Stairmaster, if you really want to work your legs a little bit more. The cardio bike, shout out Sam Sulik. It's another great option. You can build up some really strong quads doing that, and it's very easy to just sit there and watch a video while doing the cardio bike. This is also one of the reasons why I do enjoy steady state cardio. You are able to do other things while doing steady state cardio. You can be on your phone, you can watch a YouTube video, you can watch me, you can listen to music pretty easily, and it's just not that tiring. You can also talk with a friend while doing it, which is something you can't do while doing higher intensity cardio. And another point of focus that I really want to focus. Oh, wait, swimming. Swimming is great. You can make swimming high intensity. It's not high impact. You can make it high intensity, but you can also make it lower intensity and maintainable. Swimming is fun. It's also great for your joints. The elliptical is another option for those of you worried about joint pain. That's the machine where you're kind of like going like this, and you don't have to like stomp your feet up and down. Your feet kind of stay down, and you're using a lot of your upper body and your legs to do motion. Some people like the rowing stuff and all that type of thing. Some people like to do the rope pull downs. I'm not a huge fan, but those can also work. But they do have the drawback of not being able to, watch anything while you're doing those. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is for you to pick something that you can do relatively consistently and that you kind of like doing. And the goal to aim for is about 120 to 150 minutes of cardiovascular activity or elevated heart rate, doing some sort of cardio per week. And you can split that up into 5 30-minute sessions or smaller chunks if you want. But as long as you're doing that, that's like the optimal range to be healthy. But at the end of the day, anything that you can do that is like extra from what you have right now in your life is really going to benefit you. So I would highly suggest trying some form of cardio. And I'm sure there is something out there, even something I didn't mention, that you might like. So please, I would highly suggest doing that. It greatly decreases risk of cardiovascular disease and also some other like artery diseases and blood pressure and all those like nasty things. Doing a little bit of cardio can go a really long way. So I would highly, highly recommend that, even more than I would weightlifting. But for those of you who are interested in adding this cardio to your weightlifting and are trying not to have it interfere with your gains, what's the best way to do that? I often get asked, Nassim, what's the best time to do my cardio? Or Nassim, is cardio gonna kill my gains? Cardio kills your gains, dude. Cardio won't kill your gains, man. As long as you're not overdoing it. That's the point that I want to make clear. The reason I'm so big on steady state cardio is if you're going too hard, your body's just not going to be able to recover from the amount of weightlifting you're doing and the cardio you're doing. It's just going to be too much of a load on your joints, your muscles. It's just too much repair to go through at a time. So cardio won't kill your gains if you're doing it at a moderate intensity and nothing too crazy, and you don't go overboard. And you'll know if you went overboard. Trust me. I mean, you're going to be dead if you went overboard. You're going to feel terrible. Anyways, I digress. Back to the point. The best time to do your cardio. The best time to do your cardio really is at a completely separate time from your weight training. If you can separate it as far as you can, that would honestly be the best. Like, for example, cardio in the morning, lift at night. But I know that's not realistic for most people. And honestly, that isn't even realistic for me. I can't do that most of the time. I'm a college student. My schedule is too busy between doing pre-med stuff and classes and studying and extracurriculars on top of my lifting. I just can't go to the gym twice. So what can you do? Well, you do it right after your workout. If you're going to do cardio with your workout, it's not as great, obviously, but if you have to do it like I do, doing it after your workout as opposed to before. And I don't mean a 5 to 10 minute warm-up. You can do a slight warm-up if you want to walk for 5 to 10 minutes right before your workout just to get a nice little sweat going. That's fine. But your actual dedicated cardio session, if you're going to do 30 minutes of cardio, save that for after the lift. If you do it before the lift, it's going to interfere with your energy levels and you're going to have a worse workout, to be honest with you. All of your energy stores are going to go to that cardio and you're not going to be able to focus as much on pushing the weight and things of that nature. Whereas if you save it for after your workout, you're going to have a better workout and it's going to interfere less. So I would recommend doing it after. Again, you could look into the science of this. It's been studied. I'm not going to link any studies here, but if you go do your own research, you will find that this information is true. But Again, as long as you're doing your cardio, that is the most important point that I would like to make. Otherwise, it isn't really too complicated. Whether you get your cardio from playing a little bit of tennis or moving around or just making sure you're getting, your 10K steps, just make sure you're doing it. And as long as you're doing it, that's great. It's not going to kill your gains. It won't kill your gains. It won't kill your gains. It won't kill your gains. Do your cardio. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you. Well, that's all I have about cardio for now. If you have any questions about cardio or anything more specifically you'd like me to cover, please let me know. The lift is a little bit noisy. I apologize for the audio quality. I swear I have a mic coming in soon, as in a few days. I have some funny videos coming up, some interesting stuff. I hope you enjoyed today's back lift. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not going to include an after the lift talk, so I'm just going to say bye here, but like the lift is still happening, so go watch that. Skip ahead 10 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. A bit of a weird start to the video today. Don't have the car, but we're just going to get going with some heavy pull downs, a couple of sets, and we'll just figure it out as we walk back day. Let's get right into the first one. Pretty good. The idea is not to be too far back on these. I like to stay close to vertical, slight backwards tilt, and just try to control the rep all the way through. I try to pull straight down, kind of towards my sternum, the front of my chest, and just keep the rep controlled. A little bit of sway near the end is fine, but we'll get one more of these, and I think we should be good to move on to some cable rows. Let's go. Infamous squeeze versus stretch debate. This is a tale as old as time for lifters, but I think we're going to try to focus on a little bit of both today. I'm really going to I want to lower the weight just a touch and focus on holding the squeeze near the top of the rep on these, and then also allowing for a long stretch on the way back down. So let's see if we can do that. We'll see how that feels. I've been doing like pretty normal cable rows, just like getting in a rhythm, but I want to see if these are a little extra crazy. So let's just get into it and see what happens. Those were brutal. I think we'll do two more of those. I like those. I like the feeling of that. While the squeeze might be controversial, I think the real answer of the debate lies somewhere in between. While there's no like solid rule, I think if you're just pushing it hard and you're really trying to control the rep all the way through. I repeat this all the time, but I don't think it's emphasized enough. If you control the rep all the way through, I think you're good. As long as you're not swaying with a lot of momentum, you'll end up getting both a squeeze and a stretch.
and you'll get some muscle growth regardless. But let's just hop into the second set. That first one was great. I'm working up a real sweat with this pump cover on. Okay, one more. Okay, that's enough of that. Move on to some high to low pull downs, Jay Cutler style. Now, something I've been trying to work on in between sets is taking adequate rest. I tend to get a little impatient and I like to go a lot of the time, probably a little sooner than I should. I don't know, I just like to go fast, but something that I find helps me is playing Clash Royale in between sets. Man, I could not recommend that more. I mean, you get in a 3-minute match, sometimes even shorter if you win or lose. And, you know, it works better than pre-workouts, just to get you all amped up for the workout. I mean, when I drop down my my balloon at the bridge and then the guy just drops an Inferno Dragon down on it, I just get so pissed off. I mean, of course they have an Inferno Dragon at the bridge. Or say, here, let me give you my deck. I run Lava Hound, Balloon, Evo Archers, Evo Valk, Arrows, Inferno Dragon, Guards, and then my secret weapon, the Clone spell. I call it Lava Loon Clone. This is an original deck. I've been running this deck for 9 years at this point. And nothing pisses me off more than when I start up a game and I'm going up against classic Logbait. Man, it just gets me ready to go. I get so pissed, especially if I lose. Anyways, it's enough of a Clash Royale rant. Let's just get this first set. The idea is to just crank out as many reps as possible. We'll go 2 hard sets. All right. Oh yeah, one more of those. These are disgusting. Now, what especially pisses me off, let's just talk about this before going into the second set. It's when I'm having a good game and then I hear in the middle of the game, Mega Knight. Oh my goodness, that is the sound of nightmares right there. Followed up with Evo Firecracker, or don't get me started on Evo P.E.K.K.A, Evo Goblin Giant. Let's just stop right here. I'm already pissed. This is gonna be good energy for the last set. Let's go. Now that was intense. One more back movement. Let's see what we'll do, then we'll move on to biceps to finish out. Just one exercise for that. Just realized I forgot my straps, and usually this is one of those movements where I do like to use them, but if I do forget them, I don't feel like it's the end of the world. I feel like getting that forearm pump during the movements isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I mean, you see some dudes who over rely on wrist straps, or for example, maybe the belt when they're squatting, using it too early, too soon, too fast, too light. And I feel like that can end up causing some muscle imbalances or discrepancies in strength, because you end up not needing to use some of your other smaller, let's just call them stabilizing muscles, while that is an oversimplification. But I feel like you end up taking the load a lot off of muscles that are actually important if you just use them all the time. And you see this with guys especially with the belt for squat. I mean, if people start using the belt on, let's say, one plate during their warm-ups, I mean, eventually your back is gonna lose out on a lot of gains over time, especially as you get stronger, and I feel like that can lead to injury. Now, this isn't as much of an issue when it comes to the forearm, but still, I do like having or working my forearms to get them big, especially since I don't work them, or I don't target them specifically a lot of the time. But to each their own, I suppose. I would warn against overusing the belt on squat. I think a general good rule is to not use the belt on your warm-up sets and your working up sets, and to use it closer to your top sets that are approaching your max. But you get the idea. Let's just get into set one. Whew. All right, one more. On to biceps. One thing I want to talk about before finishing off, actually, that I just thought of was chest-supported back movements. I'm personally not a huge fan of chest-supported back movements, and it's mainly because I feel like it compresses my lungs and I can't breathe as I'm doing the sets. While they do feel good, I feel like once I start loading the weight like heavier, I can still do the weight, but I end up not being able to breathe because of like the compression on the chest as you lean into the rep on like the eccentric, for example, especially with the chest supported V-bar, T-bar rows, or maybe the chest supported like seated row where you're like straight up compared to like the bent over one. Both of those, and really especially the bent over one, I feel that I can't breathe at all. But to each their own, I guess. Again, if you don't have to use certain machines or not to like grow a good back. As long as you're doing all types of movements, you should be fine. Anyways, I did up the weight for this last set here. First one was a little bit too light, a touch. I did get around 12 reps, and I felt like I had maybe like 5 or 6 more in me. And that's okay because we pushed it hard today, but up the weight, make it a little bit harder. Last set, best set. Let's just get straight into it. And on to, I'm thinking, a nasty biceps superset today. We'll throw in, again, like usual, we'll do, I'm thinking preacher curl, and then some hammer curls. Let's go. Oh yeah. Back is decimated. Let's go. Okay, slight plan change. We're just gonna crank out some hammer curls right now. Okay. So good. One more. Okay, one more of these. Yes. Now, these ones are a personal favorite, but I usually prefer to do the pin one as opposed to the plate loaded one. But it makes no difference to me. As long as I get a nice stretch on these, I'm okay. Which brings me back to the stretch versus squeeze thing. I feel like on certain movements, it just really depends. Like I prefer the stretch on biceps as opposed to the squeeze, but actually, I don't know if I would say that. I feel like I actually like the squeeze more, but I feel the stretch a little bit better, if that makes sense. But I don't think it really matters. Let's just try to get a nice bit of both here. Although the plate, I feel like it gets a little easier as I reach the top of this rep, so I can't quite get the squeeze that I'm looking for. But the stretch is still there. Anyways, we'll do 2 to 3 really hard ones on here, and that should be good for the workout. We'll see if we can get in a pose now. Okay. That's enough yapping.
Let's try those. If I need to raise it, so the higher you raise the bar, easier the push-ups will be. Okay? Long flat push-up.
Okay. Do 2 more. All right. Okay. Yeah, really the stretch on these is insane. I try not to drop too far down just to avoid any risk of injury, but man, I feel like you can't avoid feeling that crazy stretch on these. Yeah, one more. Okay. Okay, that's enough for today. Let's go get this pose down in. Pump is looking great. Okay, here we go. Let's get today's pose down in. We're actually pumped up this time. Last time we did this, I ended up like, driving home, lost a bit of that pump, but let's just see what happens today.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to, obviously my dad and brother, I was like, regardless of what happens, I'm like, I want to switch it. And, I felt like that was a cool moment for the crowd and, for baseball in general to at least see me do them both. And, whether I lost even advanced at all, I wanted to at least switch it and I accomplished that. And then, once that was pretty by, I was like, I don't know, kind of a little better.
Let's do a back double.
Let's just let it roll, and it worked. And at that point, I was like, we're here, we might as well try to win this thing. And that's how it was the hot hand.
In the front. That's enough for today. That bicep vein right there is going crazy. But, yeah.